I'd like to call to order the Milan Area Schools Board of Education regular meeting for Wednesday, April 23rd, 2025. Would everyone please rise as you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you to everyone attending this evening as well as those who are watching the recording. All board members are present except for Ms. Pryor. She is excused, and our student board members are excused as well. We will start with communications and community engagement with public comment. A reminder, this meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public meeting. There are 2 times for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. When addressing the board, you'll be asked to state your name. The board determines the amount of time granted to individuals or groups to speak. Each person shall be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. Board members may question speakers but are not obligated to answer questions or make statements or commitments in response to issues raised by the public. In general, such items will be referred to the superintendent for advisement, investigation, study, and/or recommendation, or designated as future agenda items for board consideration. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board?
Hi there. Good evening. Andrea Benning, and I'm actually speaking as a PAC rep tonight, not just as a parent, just because I have some things to share with all of you that are pertinent to special education. I wanted to mention that the Washtenaw Superintendents Association and Washtenaw Association of School Boards is hosting a sounds like it's an education town hall where they're discussing public education in light of different policy changes at the federal level, funding changes, things like that. And so it looks like they will have the State Board of Education President, Pamela Pugh, there. Jeff Irwin, our state senator, and Jimmy Wilson Jr., our state representative, will be there, as well as various other board superintendents talking about all of the different changes and what that could impact public education like. And that is taking place Wednesday, April 30th from 7 to 8:30, and that's at the Washtenaw Community College Morris Lawrence building. They do ask that you register for that. I've sent a flyer out to the Board of Education and to Mr. Gearbaugh, but I will also put this flyer out in front of the secretary's desk so that if anybody's interested, they can get that information there. Another event that is taking place on May 14th, 2025 from 8:15 to 11 is a community engagement conversation. It's coffee and conversation through Washtenaw Intermediate School District. They will have community mental health there, talking about their resources. They'll talk about positive behavioral intervention as well. So if you're interested, that's open to the public. Again, that's something you can register for, and this information will be out on the desk in the superintendent's office as well. And the Work and Play Special Needs Resource Center is hosting a Zoom webinar, basically, that is put on by Wayne Steedman from Rights Law, and he'll be talking about understanding special education rights amid uncertainty. So talking about how things will look in light of federal policy changes and the State Department or the Federal Department of Education changes. So that's something that might be worth looking into. It's a 1-hour webinar where he's talking about just answering questions like, are IEPs going away? What happens to IDEA and ADA? Will schools still be held accountable for providing support? All of those kinds of questions that parents might be having, as well as maybe even educators might be having those kinds of questions and concerns. And that is something you can register for. Work and Play Special Needs Resource Center, their website has registration for that. and I know I'm about ready to beep. Can I give you just one more thing? Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. I also just wanted to recognize and acknowledge Sarah Norton is here, and she is on the agenda for this evening as another nominee for PAC representative. So, yay! 3 years in the making. We've got a second. We got a second rep coming down the line. I just wanted to sing her praises a minute. Even before she was nominated or expressed interest in being a PAC rep, she has reached out to me and wanted to put together kind of a guidebook for families who are going through special education processes in Milan. And she collaborated with myself and Jesse Kishiyama to help bring this into fruition. And so I'm really grateful for that proactive work that Sarah has put in, as well as her future partnership as we collaborate and work together on PAC and help support our families and our staff here in Milan. So thank you, Sarah, and thank you, board. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Bennick. Are there others who'd like to address the board? All right. Next up, and thank you for sharing those resources with us. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of April 9th, 2025.
Moved by Heike.
Support by Gutierrez.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the special meeting of April 9th, 2025. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the special meeting April 9th, 2025. Ms. Murray?
Thank you. Murray, yes. Sislo?
Yes.
Burdette?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Heike? Yes. And motion carries 6-0.
Getting a little weird feedback. We'll see what happens as we go. Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting closed session of April 9th, 2025.
Moved by Farrow. Support by Burdette.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the special meeting closed session of April 9th, 2025. We had 2 closed sessions. Those are both in the envelopes. Any concerns? All right. It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the special meeting closed session April 9th, 2025. Ms. Murray?
Thank you. Sislo?
Yes.
Burdette?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Heike? Yes. Murray, yes. And motion carries 6-0.
All right. Next up, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 9th, 2025.
Moved by Heike. Support by Murray.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 9th, 2025. Any discussion? Hearing none, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 9th, 2025. Ms. Murray?
Sislo?
Yes.
Burdette?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Yes.
Gutierrez? Heike? Yes. Murray, yes. And motion carries 6-0.
And finally, with the minutes, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of April 9th, 2025.
Moved by Burdette.
Support by Gutierrez.
So moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of April 9th, 2025. Any concerns? Hearing none, it's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the regular meeting closed session of April 9th, 2025. Ms. Murray?
Burdette?
Yes.
Farrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Heike?
Yes.
Murray, yes. Sislo?
Yes.
And motion carries 6-0.
And I have everybody's envelopes. All right. Next up, I need a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Schools of Choice Resolution as provided in Attachment A.
Moved by Farrow.
Support by Gutierrez.
So moved and supported to approve the 2025-2026 School of Choice Resolution as provided in Attachment A. This is the annual resolution that we approve to accept and educate School of Choice students from outside of Milan. So any other update, Mr. Gearbaugh? Any other questions or discussion? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the 2025-2026 School of Choice Resolution as provided in Attachment A. Ms. Murray?
Farah,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0.
All right. Next, I need a motion to approve the 2025-2026 Budget and Truth in Taxation hearing announcement as provided in Attachment B.
Moved by Heika.
Support by Burdette.
It's been moved and supported to approve the 2025-2026 Budget and Truth in Taxation hearing announcement as provided in Attachment B. Again, this is an annual vote that we have to allow for the posting of that meeting. That meeting is going to be our first meeting in June, where we have a hearing before the meeting to accept the millage rate that we'll need to pass on to our local taxing bodies. So, any questions or concerns with that? All right, it's been moved and supported to approve the 2025-2026 Budget and Truth in Taxation hearing announcement as provided in Attachment B. Ms. Murray?
Thank you. Gutierrez,
Yes.
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farah,
Yes.
and motion carries 6-0.
All right. Now on to matters of the strategic plan in the area of finance and operations. I need a motion to renew the Food Service Management Company contract for the 2025-2026 school year with Chartwell School Dining Service Management Company as described in Attachment C, and further to authorize the superintendent or designee to sign all necessary documents.
Moved by Murray.
Support by Heika.
So moved and supported to renew the Food Service Management Company contract for the 2025-2026 school year with Chartwell School Dining Service Management Company as described in Attachment C, and further to authorize the superintendent or designee to sign all necessary documents. Last year we signed a 5-year agreement. This is the annual vote to continue that renewal. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Yes, as you said, every 5 years we have to bid the service out under federal law because free and reduced lunch is a federal program. We did that last year. In that contract, there are 4 renewals. Each renewal requires your approval. You can't approve it until the state of Michigan appropriate offices have approved the contract renewal. Our contract that we signed allowed for a couple of rates to increase by either the CPI or 3%, whichever is lower. CPI was 3.1, and so we are seeing an increase of 3%. And so this is fully in line with the contract. I provided you the email from the state that said it's in line with the contract, and so this is really kind of just a formality.
Any questions or concerns for Mr. Gearbaugh? All right, hearing none, it's been moved and supported to renew the Food Service Management Company contract for the 2025-2026 school year with Chartwell School Dining Service Management Company as described in Attachment C. Further, to authorize the superintendent or designee to sign all necessary documents. Ms. Murray?
Heika,
Yes.
Murray, yes. Sislo,
Yes.
Burdette,
Yes.
Farah,
Yes.
Gutierrez,
Yes.
and motion carries 6-0.
All right, now onto the area of learning, environment, and culture. I need a motion to recommend Sarah Norton to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Board of Education for appointment to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Parent Advisory Committee.
Moved by Gutierrez.
Support by Farrell.
It's been moved and supported to recommend Sarah Norton to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Board of Education for appointment to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Parent Advisory Committee. Sorry. As Ms. Bennick stated, Ms. Norton is here. She's no stranger to us. She applied for the open board position that we had last year. And we are delighted that she has decided to serve in this role. As we know, Ms. Bennick has been looking for somebody to help her. I'm sorry, I'm all choked up. That you found somebody. So we appreciate you volunteering to serve in that role. Any further discussion, concerns? Yeah, Ms. Gutierrez.
I just would like to support this nomination, and I'm delighted that Ms. Norton has stepped forward in this way. I recall when you were here at the appointment hearings, and I'd commented at the time that I'd learned a lot from you, and I thought you had some really wonderful and fresh ideas, and so I think you and Mrs. Bennick will be a really great team, and I'm grateful that you're willing to serve in this role.
Any others? All right, it's been moved and supported to recommend Sarah Norton to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Board of Education for appointment to the Washtenaw Intermediate School District Parent Advisory Committee. Ms. Murray?
Thank you. Murray, yes. Sislo?
Yes.
Burdette?
Yes.
Barrow?
Yes.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
Heika?
Yes.
And motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if this is congratulations or no. Welcome aboard. Congratulations. Thank you for
Just for process, once we have the minutes from the meeting approved, then I send those to the ISD board, and then the ISD board approves her, and then she takes over. I'm sure they're not going to mind if she goes to a meeting, because that's going to take a little bit of time, but they're not going to have a problem if she goes to the next meeting. So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but, yeah. Thank you.
awesome. That returns us back to communications and community engagement and time for public comment. Are there any students who'd like to address the board? Are there any public members who'd like to address the board?
I just wanted to say that Ms. Norton was not the only person who was interested at this go-round in coming aboard as a PAC representative. And some of the other people that were interested have decided to be engaged in other ways. And I just want to encourage all of our families to get involved in some way, whether that's volunteering, serving on the PTO at Paddock and Simons, helping out in various different ways. There's a lot of room for areas to serve and ways to get involved with our schools and our community, and it only improves your child's education and helps build those relationships that are so important in our schools between our families and our educators, our administrators, all of our staff. So if you can get involved, I absolutely encourage it. Thank you.
Ditto. Are there others?
Good evening. I just want to say thanks to all administrative assistants in the district, because today is Administrative Assistants Day, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
Ditto. Thank you, for sure. Yes, we appreciate all our administrative assistants. Also, great attendance at our meetings. Appreciate it. And being part of the conversations that we had in regards to the superintendent's election. Maybe I will take that water. Boy, I'm very sorry. Yeah. All right. Student board representatives are absent. Next up is Assistant Superintendent comments. Mr. McMahon.
Mr. Sislo?
Yeah.
Thank you. Two updates for you. One is a grant update. We got our Section 41 application approved, which was a quick turnaround, and we're pleased. That's going to give us it's actually a little over $13,000 towards services for our EL students. So that's good news. We amended how we did the application this year to put it more towards providing direct services, and we weren't sure if it was going to go through, but it did. So that's good. I also want to give you an update on the Paddock principal search process. It's been moving along. It's been busy. We had 25 applicants. We narrowed the list down to 12 and did some screening interviews today. I just wrapped up at like 6:55 right before the meeting. And I'm pleased to say we've had really good applicants. This is one of the more challenging times to just narrow down to the first screening interviews. And they were all really good conversations today. So to make the choice to go down to the next round is going to be challenging. I had Lon Smith and Christy Schwartz help me with the screening interviews today. So the first round of interviews, formal interviews in person, will be next Wednesday, April 30th, and then the following Wednesday is the second round where we'll keep the staff members of the committee, but then add in some district level administrators. And then the week after, Brian and I will spend some time with the candidates that make it that far for kind of a tour, walking tour, conversational, more get to know you, and give them a chance to get to know the building really and the staff there. So it's moving along with the ultimate goal of bringing them to the board for approval on May 20th. I will add too that I did spend an afternoon, Tracy Terrace helped me run a protocol at Paddock with the staff. It was open to everyone to help us kind of learn exactly what they're looking for in the next candidates. We ran a protocol called Hopes and Fears, and they share with us what they hope to find in the next principal and what they fear they may not find in the next principal. And actually, a lot of those overlapped, so that was good. A lot of good feedback. And then after we selected the committee, it's essentially a teacher of every grade level, support staff, and then, well, 3 support staff really, to join us. That team came together yesterday. It was yesterday. And we took the Hopes and Fears documents and then turned those into interview questions. So we have essentially a template of questions that are in our kind of our wheelhouse that we've used. So we looked at those and then we sort of adapted new questions, and Margaret was there offering help, and we came up with some really good questions. So I'm really pleased with it. And it makes it a little more personal. We get to adjust the language a little bit so it's more relevant. So things are progressing. It's really busy, but we have those questions whittled down for next week, and we'll take the next steps. We're moving forward. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. McMahon. Next up is superintendent comments. Mr. Gearbaugh.
Just a few things to share this evening. First, just our final reminder that the Milan Middle School production of The Wizard of Oz will be performed this weekend, April 25th at 7, April 26th at 2 and 7, and April 27th at 2. Our chamber choir team performed at the State Solo and Ensemble Festival on Friday, April 11th. The tenor bass ensemble did exceptionally well, earning an excellent rating with perfect scores in performance and sight reading. So not only did they get a 1, but they had perfect scores in both categories. The soprano alto ensemble sang an extraordinary performance as well, earning an excellent score that was only 1 point away from a perfect score. Also, soprano soloist Jackie Lambert earned an excellent score. Some sad news in our staff. Vicki Morey, who was a Simon's teacher, lost her father. And Christine Bell, this last weekend, the Milan Middle School counselor, lost her husband. So please keep these families in your thoughts and prayers. Obviously, both of these, the families are trying to work through the details and figure things out. And we just want to be here to support them. And we ask that everyone, again, keep them in your thoughts. The next Big Red Board Chat is scheduled for Thursday, May 8th. The chat will be held in the Simons Elementary School Theater and will run from 6:30 to 8 p.m. The main topic is just about settled and should be released later this week. A couple of general announcements. Thank you, Mrs. Bennick, for sharing the WISD Town Hall. I actually plan in the next couple of days to send that out to the entire district. I wanted to make sure that the ISD was okay with that because it's limited space, but they said, nope, please do. So I'll be sending that out to the whole district. I also want to thank Sarah for stepping up and moving ahead with becoming our second PAC rep. I truly believe this is the first time in my 17 years that we will have both seats that we are allowed to have filled. So I took care of one thing for you, Mr. McMahon. You're all set. On a more serious note, the budget. The district has started to develop our 25-26 preliminary budget. I will tell you at this time, we have the governor's budget and we have the House's what's been deemed skinny budget, meaning they just kind of only tackle the critical areas and really it's not a full budget. I'm hearing that the Senate budget is supposed to be released soon. I'm also hearing that the House's full budget will probably not be released until sometime in May. I'm working diligently to determine what revenue assumptions we should use for our foundation allowance, our multiple different categoricals, and our federal funding streams. It is always difficult this time of year to build a preliminary budget because we don't know some of the critical revenues. This year, it almost feels like an impossible task to set that budget. So Krista and I and Ryan will be getting together. I've been attending as many sessions as I can from different legislative people to hear what their thoughts are, try and hear from the folks that have the best inside news to try and figure out exactly where we should set our revenues to be both fair and yet conservative. You don't want to overestimate, but you also don't want to underestimate. So we will do our best. The guarantee is we will have a preliminary budget approved by the June 30th deadline, one way or another. So I will continue to track everything, and the three of us will work diligently to bring you the most educated budget that we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gearbaugh. Next up is board member comments. Ms.
Am I good?
Yep.
Okay. So I also want to thank all of our administrative assistants. Well, we always talk about how the bus drivers are the first and last people that our kids see. Sometimes our admins are the very next person that our kids see. They are the people here who know all of your kids. They're the ones that they go to when they need something. They just do a phenomenal job, and we, really just couldn't operate without them. So thank you to all of them. I also want to encourage everyone to go see The Wizard of Oz. I've seen some of the costumes, and it's going to be phenomenal. On a personal note, I want to invite everyone to Family Fun Day at Immaculate Conception. That's on Sunday from 11:30 to 1:30. Come, have some fun, eat some food, and then walk across the street and go to the play. There you go. You can just walk across and go over. Congratulations to the choirs. If there is the polar opposite to Pitch Perfect, it's me. So this idea that kids can go in and just belt out a song that they have just seen is absolutely incredible to me. So congratulations to them, and kudos, because I know I talk a lot about all the hard work that our athletes put in from very young ages, but these kids do the same thing. I mean, they have been working at their craft for a very long time as well. And I just want to acknowledge all the hard work that they've put in, all the hard work that Mrs. Powell has put in, and just every year they're just so impressive. So thank you for all of that. We will be working on, Mr. Gearbaugh talked about the 25-26 budget, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but we will be presenting and voting on an amendment to the 24-25 budget by the end of May. Some of this budget wrangling that's going on at the state is part of the reason that we have to routinely do this throughout the year. If you've been watching these meetings or coming to these meetings for any amount of time, you know this is part of our normal course. Some of it is just as the year goes by, you do know better what your expenses are going to be, but some of it is because that initial budget that we are required to pass by June 30th, it's kind of a fallacy sometimes, but particularly when you don't have even an estimated budget from the Senate or a full estimated budget from the House, you have no idea where it's going to go. And so you're really just guessing. And it's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. When, our admins could be spending a lot more time at the end of the year doing things that are much more meaningful to our kids, when instead of working on a budget that in the end isn't going to mean anything. And so I encourage all of you, reach out to your state reps, reach out to your state senators, because if the one thing we can all agree on that our governments are responsible for, it's passing these budgets. And we need them to get it done, because we cannot make any plans for next year without any idea of how much money we're going to get. Particularly in these financial times when our funding from the federal government is in jeopardy and just everything is so up in the air. We need to know what those budgets are going to be, at least an estimate, so that we can begin estimating. Otherwise, we're just, it's like setting a house budget with your finger in the air, wondering where all the money's going to come from. So please reach out to your House and state rep, tell them how important this is, encourage them to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heike. Others? Mr. Farrow?
So I'll be very brief. I echo a lot of what Michelle Heike said and support pretty much everything that you said. A few things. I just want to thank the admins for their help and support in the district and in each of our buildings. Your contributions are appreciated, and we thank you. With regard to the MEA, I know that we have teacher negotiations coming up soon. I'm curious if we have a fall district calendar and if we've established any dates and times to meet with the MEA on upcoming teacher contract negotiations. So I'll get with Mr. Gearbaugh on that. The last meeting, Mr. McMahon and Mr. Gearbaugh went through the benchmark assessment goals. That information is posted on our website. I know we had some technical difficulties with the last board meeting, but that information is up on our website. And then I'm looking forward to the adult education graduation on May 21st at 7 p.m. That's here at the high school. Milan Young Adult Program graduation is on May 29th at noon. The ceremony will take place at the Milan Middle School Library. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Farrow. Others? Mr. Burdette.
Thank you, Mr. Sislo. I just also want to echo everyone else and thank the admin assistants for everything that they do. It's really amazing, and we really, really appreciate everything. Since our last meeting, I did actually attend the chamber choir performances, and they were just absolutely amazing. And a side note, so that tenor bass ensemble consists of 2 senior students and 2 freshman students. So while it's unfortunate for the program that we're losing those amazing seniors, the future is looking pretty good as well. So, and I also do look forward to watching them again. I think they all perform as one group at the State Choral Festival next Thursday, May 1st at Leslie High School. So, very much encourage everybody, and I am so psyched to go see The Wizard of Oz. Super exciting. I just think the arts are just so important to the students as well as the community, and anything that we can do to continue to support them, we definitely should do that. Also, I've made it to quite a few girls soccer games over the last couple of weeks. A lot more over the next month or so. They do play probably our biggest rival on Thursday at Grosse Ile, and then a big tournament at Williamston High School on Saturday, so look forward to seeing those. And now that the weather is starting to actually get pretty nice, I look forward to going in and watching all the other events kind of going around in the community and district as well. So I think that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burdette. Others? Ms. Murray.
Can go next. Okay. I'd like to start by just briefly thanking admin assistants, and I wanted to share a particular example of some of the unseen work that they take care of. As you've heard, Wizard of Oz is coming up, and so Jennifer Edelbrock at the middle school just spent some of her days printing a gazillion flyers and making lightboard things for us, or designating people to do those tasks so that they got done. And that's what's doing it. Okay, thank you. So yeah, they are definitely the first or maybe second people that our kiddos see when they come into our buildings, and they are deeply responsible for those welcoming environments in our buildings and helping everyone who comes through the door. But they're also these amazing minions behind the scenes that are keeping all of the gears clicking and making some of these other things throughout the district happening. So thank you specifically to Jennifer Edelbrock for that, because that's a present impact right now that I'm seeing. But to all of them, thank you for keeping our district humming along and as welcoming as it is. I also want to thank the staff and students who made the 6th grade camp such a success this year. I really enjoyed seeing the pictures on the website. That's near and dear to my heart, as it was a role I used to fulfill. But those outdoor education experiences create such lasting lessons for students in independence, teamwork, resilience, and so many other people call them soft skills, but they really aren't soft. They are living skills, how to relate to one another, how to care for our environment. It's very important work. So thank you to YMCA Storer Camp again for hosting our students. This is a long-running Milan tradition, and it makes me so proud to see it continue. And I know all of the work that it takes to get kids to and from camp dressed and fed and returned and all of that. So thank you, thank you. It's already been mentioned about the town hall on April 30th. I'll just add that if you go to washtenawisd.org/town hall, you can register there. I think actually Ms. Bennick may have mentioned that also, so just to reiterate. But it is a public event. I am planning to attend unless something happens, but I just want to thank the ISD and the WASB for collaborating with all of our area leaders and legislators as well to make that happen. We certainly all have a lot of questions on our mind, and it will be good, I think, to come together. I want to thank Ms. Heike for your excellent characterization of the state and federal budget situation and how it specifically impacts us here in Milan and how it makes our jobs nearly impossible. I think the analogy of sticking your finger in the wind and just trying to figure out which direction to go is very apt. One particular thing that I am watching that I wanted to mention, it's a federal issue, is in the proposed federal budget to eliminate the Head Start program. We've already seen the closure of the regional office that serves our Michigan Head Start programs due to existing cuts or pauses in federal funding. But now that program is apparently on the table as a proposed cut at the federal level. So that would deeply affect thousands of Michigan families. They provide not only education, meals, and health services to students, but it's also relied on as a key source of child support for many families, allowing parents to work full-time and have financial stability. So if that program were eliminated, I would hate to think what situation that would create for many of our families here in Milan and across our state. So as I will continue to say each week that we meet, please continue to engage with your local representatives. The WASB Town Hall that's coming up in the end of this month is an excellent opportunity to do that. So thank you, and please stay tuned as much as you're all able. Additionally, I feel compelled to just briefly respond to the recent comments by Secretary Kennedy, Health and Human Services. He falsely claimed that individuals with autism will never pay taxes, hold a job, or go on a date. These comments are not only hurtful and wrong, but they're fundamentally ableist and out of step with our Milan Area Schools mission to challenge each student to achieve their own personal excellence. Here in Milan, we see the strengths and contributions of our neurodiverse students every single day, and our district believes in the potential of every learner. So remarks like that from Secretary Kennedy are only making the work of inclusion that much more difficult, and they're not reflective of our values here in Milan. We will continue to serve our students using good research, good data, and an inclusive and equitable mindset. On to closing with positives. I want to quickly thank some specific people who've been really helping out in the theater this week. Tom Pennard, John Birchwell, and Mr. Dan Douglas, who's also our theater manager. The set, if you come see Wizard of Oz, the set that you see is reminiscent of Seussical, but we've made some adaptations, and they did an amazing job getting it assembled in a very short timeline. We shared the theater at this time of year with dance competitions. And so we actually can't start building the set for the middle school musical until after those April dance competitions leave the theater. So we've built a set that should have taken about 4 weeks in the span of about two and a half. And they're largely to thank for that. We have also been blessed with many, many, many parent volunteers. Our Sign Up Genius has been filled. So thank you to all families who've been making this process possible. And yeah, please come see the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Murray. Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start by going a little bit out of order, but in light of Mrs. Murray's comments, I too was quite shocked and saddened by the comments of our Secretary of Health and Human Services about neurodivergent students. But shortly thereafter, I was grateful to open up the Sun-Times paper, which I'm very grateful that we have a newspaper here in Milan again. And there was an extremely lovely story and positive story about one of our Milan area schools students in that paper. Not only was it about that student, but about some of the work that the National Junior Honor Society was doing at the middle school to celebrate Neurodiversity Week, which turned into Neurodiversity Month. And I think it was a real wonderful characterization of the inclusion and the spirit of training all of our learners in Milan area schools. It was a really lovely piece, and it was written by one of our Milan staff and parents, Mrs. Karen Lambert. So I would also like to thank her for the really wonderful job I believe she's been doing in bringing attention to the things that are ongoing in Milan area schools. And so if you haven't picked up the Sun Times, or if you get it and it just goes in your recycling bin, I encourage you to read it, because there's a lot of great information in there, and really has been in tune with Milan area schools and our activities. I too would like to thank our staff and our students who had a great time at 6th grade camp. I'm the mom of a 6th grader, and she was looking forward to that. It was last week on Wednesday and Thursday. She came home exhausted and dirty and had a wonderful time. And so it was perfect in my mind. To the skills that Mrs. Murray mentioned, in addition to that, she talked a lot about the skill building they did with learning to work together. And I just really reflect on how valuable a cohort of students is in Milan area schools. We're a small district. The kids that you start kindergarten with are often the kids that you graduate high school with. And I know that that was a pivotal moment in them creating core memories together about working together, having shared experiences together. And I am just very grateful for our staff who make that happen, and the parents and the students as well. I too would like to thank our administrative assistants. It goes without saying the tremendous amount of work that they do to keep this ship running. On a related note, the week of May 5th will kick off Staff Appreciation Week here in the district. We'll have a meeting during that, so I don't want to be preemptive, but I know many of our PTOs are planning ongoing with some activities to thank our staff throughout the week. And so if you are able or would like to do something on your own, please do so. And during that week, we honor all of our staff in the district, our teachers, our support staff, and so on. A couple of things that I wanted to follow up on, and I'm putting them down as somebody's already talked about them, so I don't need to. But yes, thank you and wonderful job to our choral students. I did want to bring attention again to the WASB Town Hall. This was the town hall I'd mentioned last time that I knew was in the works and now has been scheduled. I heard both Mrs. Bennick and others suggest that you register for this, and I'd like to specifically mention that I'm someone who doesn't always register for things because I don't want to feel committed, but it's the way you can ask questions ahead of time. And so if you are interested in putting certain things on the mind of the panelists, or if you have something in specific you'd like to ask about, please do register and share that information. Of course, some of these things are changing on a daily basis, and I know that the panelists are committed to making sure they have accurate information. And so if you have a very specific question, giving them that ahead of time will be very helpful to them. I've also asked if there's going to be a virtual option, because I know that that would benefit many of our families as well. So if I do hear of that, I will make sure to share that with Mr. Girba. And then I know this went out to our families as well, the First Responder Safety Day that's coming up this weekend. It's for families with autistic, neurodivergent children, older adults, or older children and teens, and that will be sponsored by our local safety officers here at the Milan Area Fire Department and the Police Department, and I encourage our families to be able to attend that. I do think that our first responders in the community are very seen, and we want to make sure that everyone is comfortable with accessing them as needed. And then I would just like to again thank Mrs. Heika for amplifying the importance of the information that we desperately are waiting for and need to push through a first draft of our budget here in the district. It has been on all of our minds, as it always is, but especially in a year where we will have to renegotiate contracts, and where we know that there are a lot of changes, and we're going to get our first piece of funding from the sinking fund. And so there are a lot of variables that we want to make sure we are able to accurately characterize, and that information is really truly critical to us as we put forth that budget. I think that's all I had. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for everyone's comments. Just one quick clarification. I think, just so everybody know, the middle school play is at the high school. So you can't walk across the street. That'd be quite a walk. But there could be a parade. I mean, we could. So that, and then I'd want to thank folks for sending us emails. Miss Bennett had sent us the emails with the flyers. We do get an email from Miss Powell, our choir teacher, about all the wonderful accolades very consistently. So that's where that information came from. So we appreciate that information, the staff that email us in regards to what's being accomplished in our district. So other than that, I don't have any other business. Any other comments or? All right, meeting is adjourned at 7:45.